I love to work with people on is unhooking from some of the narratives around what it means to be like the perfect good girl, or even as we get older, like the good mom or the good wife or a perfect woman. It's complicated, and it usually involves rules that either deeply conflict, like how does one be the perfect mother and a virgin? Like, it's very difficult unless you're married. Or they're straight up damaging, right? So like I got the messaging, and I know so many of us did, that it was really important to be sexy, but it's not really for you. It's like, be sexy so that other people can consume you. And also, if you enjoy it too much, that's bad. That's like this kind of slut wound. But also, like, if you don't enjoy it, that's bad too. Like, you don't want to be a prude. And so there's this, so in feminist theory, this is called a double bind, where it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I can either be like really enjoying sex, and then I'm gonna get blamed for sexual assaults. I'm gonna get considered a slut, or I can like totally shut that part of me down and be this like really good girl. But like, that's not really great either in our cultural conditioning. Like, then you're a prude, like who would want to date you? Like, this is not good. And I didn't really always connect the dots between that and this parallel line of religious rhetoric around women's sexuality, which gets even more complicated, right? And I see this a lot with clients who were part of communities where their virginity in particular was really, really stressed. So if you grew up in a church like that, where you had signed like a purity pledge, or you had made a commitment to not have sex, or you got messaging around sex being like really dangerous, kind of like this scary, bad thing until you're married, and then suddenly it's good. What I'm finding with my clients is that that's really hard to turn off, that voice. So even clients of mine who are like happily married now, not upset about being married to the person they're married to, really wanting to be able to like let loose in bed and have a really satisfying, fun, like playful sex life, still have this voice in their head that they can't get rid of that is like, this is bad, you're a slut, you can't like sex, sex is bad. And it's like really hard to turn the volume down on that. And so what I've found is that actually what we need in order to do that is to go really deep into like, not just intellectually, like, do I know where these things came from, but like working in our bodies. Like, how can we rewrite the script that says like, it's okay to enjoy this, I'm gonna find out what feels good, and I'm gonna actually like use some body tools and some neurological tools to rewrite some of these messages that I was getting for like 25 years. And it's no one's fault, right? Except maybe like a little bit the fault of the patriarchy in Christian history. But it's not your job to rewrite all of that. It's your job to let yourself heal from it. And the way that that showed up in my own life is a little bit embarrassing for me to even talk about, because you would think, or at least this is part of what I think sometimes, like, oh, like I should have known better. I equated sex with extreme danger, and I went over to like a religious community where that wasn't even going to be an issue. Like, now looking back, it's like so legible to me why that was happening. And it's only really in the last like 5-ish years, maybe like a little bit before that, that I started to create for myself the systems that I now use with all of my clients, where I was able to piece together like what was going on here and what did I really need. And so for me, that looked like a way to take some of all of this, like to take some of the religious beauty and the connection and the like longing to honor how like incredible the universe is and how magical, and to just sort of be like a living, breathing thank you note to how amazing like the cosmos is, and not necessarily have it mean that like I'm a whore if I have an orgasm, and like somehow finding the sweet spot in there. And that's really become what I do now. And I do it first and foremost for myself, because that pattern is still so deep in us. And even if we haven't bought into it, a lot of that stuff buys its way into us. And it can still just be so helpful to feel all the magic in me, see all the magic in the world, witness all the magic going on here every time I'm like experiencing pleasure or also experiencing prayer or bringing those two together.